What's going on, people? It is Irish Gunner HD here. You can call me Irish, and got some kind of bad news last night, as most of you are probably aware by now. But before we get into that, just a little bit about the game, as per usual. Just some TDM on Canals BF3. Not my greatest game by any means, but as I said, I'm just trying to work out the recording situation with my hard drive and see what I can and can't record. So, as you might notice, if you actually do watch the gameplay, it's quite stutter free and stuff like that. So it wasn't too bad. So. Yeah, it's alright. It's just some background footage, basically. Yeah, so last night, of course, as you would know, Robin Williams died, age 63, I believe, and it was confirmed there. I just checked the Sky News app. I've been refreshing it pretty much all day, and it was just confirmed that he was he committed suicide. He hung himself in his home, and that's. I think the main reaction that I had was shock. Like, I think my very first initial thought, and what I posted on Facebook as soon as I seen it, well, not as soon as I seen it, like, but my first thing that I thought was shocking. Like, this is shocking. It's, I don't know, it's really hard to understand because you've got Robin Williams, who is for the last probably 25 years plus, has been one of the world's most famous leading comedians. Like, his whole life, his whole entire being for the last 30 years, other than of course his family and his own personal happiness and stuff like that, has been to bring other people happiness and joy and laughter and smiles and good times and good films and all that kind of stuff. And like that, like for me, this is like I'm not personally like super attached to Robin Williams. I did like Jumanji, I did like Flubber, and one film, like one of his films that I most enjoyed probably was 1 Hour Photo, to be honest. But yeah, like just to see a guy whose entire life basically revolves around making people happy and positivity and kind of never being down, as it were, like to see that like a guy like that to take his own life, it just goes to show how serious depression is. So like basically anyone, like most people know, I think most, like by and large, it's known that like depression is not something to like mess around with or joke around about. But for some reason, it's in certain parts of the world, in certain parts of America, and certain people's minds or something, like, for whatever reason, you can't tell when Robin Williams is depressed. Like, if people around him couldn't tell that he was depressed, it's because he was hiding it, and and obviously he's very good at hiding it, being a comedian. But he felt like he needed to hide it because this whole thing about depression, nobody seems to want to talk about it. Nobody seems to want to do anything about it. Nobody seems to want to put money or funds or backing into looking into seeing what the causes and what the reasons or what possible solutions could be, other than just giving you a few pills and sending you on your way. Me and many other people that I know personally have suffered depression or some kind of form of like intense sadness or whatever. Like, and it's just it's just shocking. You just don't expect somebody like Robin Williams, in probably not the prime of his life, because I don't think he's done many big films or shows or anything like that recently, but definitely like I'm assuming the last most people heard of him, he was doing well. He was a happy, content man with a family, and everything was going well. But obviously not. And yeah, it's just what do you do in this kind of situation? Like most celebrity deaths, I'm kind of, it's interesting to hear about. It's like, oh, that's kind of a shame or whatever. That Paul Walker died recently. That was a big one for me personally. Being a massive Fast and the Furious car guy, obviously, that was a big one for me. But at the same time, it wasn't like that was a complete freak accident. He died in a car crash, and like there was nothing really anybody could do about that other than drive safely, obviously. And the difference between that and this one is like that one, as I said, it affected me, but like I don't usually get like supremely like overly down about celebrity deaths. But this one it's different, and again, I haven't cried, I haven't like shed a tear or anything like that, but it's definitely, it hits you in a different way, because it's like it's deeper than a car accident. It's a guy that everybody assumed was like on top of the world, like one of the best comedians of all time, like took his own life. It's just nuts. It's so hard to believe. I don't think it's probably even properly sunk in for most people yet to understand what would you be thinking. I don't really want to go down that road. It's a bit depressing, but like, how could you be that guy who's brought so many joy to everyone else in the world, basically, that's seen him perform, and yet be so sad and so alone. And I know he's just struggled with alcoholism and cocaine and stuff like that, and certain different drugs, whatever like that, in the 80s and stuff, in the 90s. But as far as I could see, up until recently, up until the last couple of years, he'd been clean. He'd been clean for about 20 years. So again, it's just one of them things. If you, like the video's nearly over, and I just want to get this out really quickly because this is the main, most important part of the video. If you or anyone that you know is going through depression, or you suspect it, or you have the slightest idea, as much as, like, I watched Boogie to 988's video, and he was saying things like, I'm here for you, chin up, basically, don't give up, it's not the end, and all that. Like, those things are kind of almost cliched now, so, like, they, in my opinion, they might not mean as much as actually, like, grabbing someone aside and being like, look, actually talking to them, not just being like giving them the usual lines and stuff like that. So definitely check out, I don't have them handy, but there's like plenty of lists of like suicide hotline numbers and stuff like that in case you're feeling depressed or whatever like that. Definitely go check them out, Google them, show them to friends, send them on. Just take care of people around you, because you never know what people are going through. If it can happen to somebody like Robin Williams, sorry. If it happened to somebody like him, it could happen to anybody, basically, is what we could probably take away from this. So definitely go look that kind of information up, and if you yourself are feeling like that, talk to somebody, suss it out, and yeah, that's basically it. Sorry for talking so long over the gameplay. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.